How do you solve a problem like Maria, Connie Fisher, and Minder's new Cockney duo Shane Richie and Lex Shrapnel? They're joining us for some Sunday lunch and the best of the week's telly. It's something for the weekend. The show today. It's a good show today.
Yeah,
by the way, Connie Fisher is here. Shane Richie and Lex Shrapnel are here. They're both
Lex Shrapnel. Is that a real name?
It sounds.
Is it really a real name?
I don't know. He sounds like a baddie out of a comic book, doesn't he?
Shrapnel.
I think it is.
Yeah, well, we'll find out.
I think it's such an obscure name. It's got to be real.
Anyway, they're here. As I say, they're in Channel 5's new Minder, so we'll talk about that. They're going to take your emails as well. So if you have a question to ask them, search for Something for the Weekend on the BBC website, bbc.co.uk, and drop us an email.
And Lex Shrapnel about learning that Cockney lingo for Minder.
Crashed onto our screens last Wednesday in Five's reinvention of the 80s classic Minder. Have a look at this.
Kind of busy right now, Archie. Can't it wait?
Not actually, Jamie. The turkey has landed.
I didn't know it.
Yes. We make a great team, James. The possibilities are infinite.
So are the pitfalls.
Did you get a good look at any of it? I got all of it. You bloody nicked it.
What choice did I?
Oh, like he ain't gonna notice.
Do you want to put it back?
Get in the car.
Yep, it's Shane Richie and Lex Shrapnel.
Well,
Let's
not
just clear
paying
this
attention.
up. Is this a real name, Lex
It is a
Shrapnel?
real name.
It is.
It's a real name.
Absolutely.
It's a cool name.
I have my
very
parents
cool.
to thank for that.
Is Lex not short for Alex? Is it just
Perhaps on,
called Lex?
perhaps on the birth certificate.
Alexander.
It was Alexander,
Yeah.
but I've always been called Lex.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Great.
Lex?
It's sort of a Lex Luthor-y thing, you know,
Yeah.
it's nice. Great. Hey, listen, guys, well, it's good to see you. Good to see you.
You too.
Shane.
And well done on the
great,
new
thank
show.
you.
It rated fantastically.
Yeah, it did well.
Yeah.
Really happy
Were you a
with
bit
Five
nervous
Days.
about taking on something as iconic as Minder?
It was, I mean, for me, I was born the year it came out. So I wasn't as familiar with it as perhaps Shane
How old are
was,
you?
who grew up 29. 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, 29.
Baby.
But, yeah, so for me, there wasn't a sort of
You didn't have
huge
much
pressure
of-
from
yeah.
that point of view, yeah.
Okay.
It's a tricky thing, though, isn't it, Shane? When you take on something that people have a lot of affection for, that it's obviously been off air for a while, and people in their own minds know what it was like, know what they liked, and to reinvent it was always a risk.
Yeah, definitely. And when I was first approached about the job over a year ago now, we talked back in Channel 5. The premise for me was saying, you know, I'm happy to reinvent the genre as opposed to try and recreate, because you could never recreate, you know, what George and
So
Dennis
what's the
did.
distinction? What have you? What do you mean by? What way have you reinvented it?
Well, brought it up to date. I mean, 'cause when it was first muted that I was doing the show, a lot of the press thought I was going to be playing Arthur Daly, and that we were kind of, you know, redoing the show but modern day, and I was going to be Arthur, and I think you were going to be playing Terry. And so we sat down and you know, I took counsel with the family and friends and said, you know, it's a big show to carry if you're going to try it and do it. And like I said, we wanted to reinvent the whole buddy thing. And also, the original, between George and Dennis, there was a bit more of a wider age gap. And we wanted to try and bring the two characters a little bit closer. So it was more Butch and Sundance, more Thelma and Louise. Bagsy, I was Louise.
I always preferred Thelma.
Yes. And Deck. No.
Who's sitting on the left?
Yeah. So that was the premise.
And do those guys, Dennis and I've forgotten the other
Dennis
one.
Jordan and George Cole.
Yeah.
George Cole.
Because there's been really mixed reports about whether they've really enjoyed it or not. Completely conflicting reports, in fact. So, do you know? Have you got the inside line?
No, I mean, listen, we always knew that the press were going to latch onto the fact that, you know, George or Dennis may not like it. But I've just finished doing an episode of New Tricks.
With which Dennis
With
Waterman
Dennis,
is in,
yeah. And what was interesting, sitting down and chatting with Dennis, because he was taken in as well by the early newspaper reports that I was going to be playing Arthur and it was going to be a new Terry. And when I explained to him, no, I'm playing Archie, which is Arthur's nephew, who's been handed looking after the business, and I bring in a new mind. And he kind of got it. He understood what we were talking about. And as for the reports about George
Was he
Cole,
initially dubious about it, though?
Yeah, and so...
I read an interview where you said that initially he was like, he dragged you outside and said, what the hell's going on?
That was just me jesting.
He
didn't drag me. Come on,
it's a good story.
That would have been very minded, though.
That'd been great, wouldn't it?
I jumped in.
No, and I understand people's anxiety, you know, about, you know, as soon as it was mentioned, there was a whole generation saying, oh, why are you doing it? Leave it alone. But, you know, if we do that, we'd never had a new Doctor Who. Daniel Craig would have never taken on Bond.
True.
So I think just time will tell, you know. We had our first episode, which, of course, Channel 5 are thrilled because it doubled their figures. The audience ratings were that were up on anything that Channel 5 have done. And the reaction has been positive.
Well,
Okay.
let's have a look. We've not seen it yet.
OK, well, yeah, we saw the initial clip. We were going to show a second clip, but instead we've swapped that for Shane in Seaside Special, which we'll come on to in a moment.
Yes! This is very, very good.
You mean I've left my kids at home to come and watch me on Seaside Special?
What we've done is we've bypassed Alfie Moon, because we all know about Alfie Moon, and we've gone back a little bit further. And we've
You've gone back. Oh, shut up.
We've dug you out.
Bear in mind, it's my 30th year in the business.
Is it?
Oh, OK.
All right, let's have a look at this. So it's Seaside Special. It's certainly at the seaside. Here it is.
The music's playing, oh, rainbow covers the floor. Oh yeah, where you going? The lights are flashing, you feel the passion. Just look who walked through the door. Hey, she must be an angel, and she's heading this way. If you wanna meet her, well, where to meet her? Don't think of nothing's to say. I'm singing, all you need is the music. Just let the beat say hello. All you need is the music. Soon you'll be dancing. Dancing's the one thing you know.
Quite a mover,
There he is.
Shut up.
Look at this. Every bit appreciative as that.
Stop with the patronising in the studio, all right? How bad
There are.
is
That's
that?
the 80s. The 80s of all decades is just the one that doesn't date well, isn't it?
Oh, look at the hair and the jumping around. That was when variety was massive in the 80s. You had all them big shows that used to pull in, you know, between 16 and 20 million viewers.
So, yeah, a different seaside town every show, wasn't it? Was that right?
I can't remember. Which town was that? That was in fact, I think that was Jersey.
Jersey.
The island of Jersey. And then they do it in Bournemouth, and it's summertime special, seaside special.
You must have good memories, though.
No, of course. I mean, it was of its time. They were the big shows, and then comedy changed. I mean, that was like the early to mid '80s, and I was doing stand-up, and my stand-up wasn't very good. And my career was kind of based on having an all right personality, because I was out of work for so long as an actor. I kind of just fell into that light entertainment.
Yeah.
And I made a good living from it, and then sort of like came back, threw away the devil, and came back to my first
I mean, you know, it's interesting because in a way that sort of variety show's back, isn't it, to some extent, with, you know, Britain's Got Talent. You know,
and the X Factor, and it's kind of sort of come back in a different way.
Lex, we should mention you because we've run out of time here, and we've finally talked about you because you're on stage. You have a Shakespearean background. You've done the RSC.
Yeah. I spent sort of the best part of 2.5 years at the RSC and had an amazing time. Yeah. And bizarrely got this job directly off the back of that. The producer, Sean O'Connor.
That is a very bizarre link.
Came to see me there.
What were you playing?
Yeah.
What did they come to see you play?
I think the part that did it was Juliet. No, it was Hotspur in Henry IV, Part 1, I think.
Okay.
And there's sort of
And can you see parallels between the two characters?
I can see parallels, and I don't want to go into that too much because I will sound
A bit pompous.
a little bit. But no, there are, and you know, and Sean gave me a great opportunity to do this, and it was kind of the last thing I thought I'd end up doing on the back of 2 years at the RSC.
TV easier than stage?
It's different. It's different, but equally
We've got more time with you later.
enjoyable.
This is like tremendous fun filming, Minder. But we'll speak to you later. People can email as well. So Shane and Lex will be staying with us, taking your emails along with Connie Fisher. If you want to ask them anything, just search for Something for the Weekend via the BBC website, which is bbc.co.uk, and then drop us an email.